now to that other attack overseas, that shocking assassination of the Russian ambassador to Turkey. The suspected gunman firing shots in front of TV cameras at an art exhibit. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Terry Moran is in Moscow with the latest on all of that. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Amy. There's a real sense of sorrow and a sense of anger here in Russia. This is the first Russian ambassador killed in the line of duty since the 1920s. And one thing is already clear. This assassination is blowback for Russian involvement in the Syrian civil war.
A chilling photo. Russian ambassador Andrey Karlov speaking at a Turkish art gallery. His assassin behind him, waiting. Then shots fired. The killer brandishes his weapon. His victim lies dying on the floor. Chaos. And then the gunman shouts the jihadist battle cry. And he declares it's all revenge for the carnage in Syria. Don't forget Aleppo. Don't forget Syria, he shouts. Until these places are safe, you will not taste safety either. From outside, a video is taken of the shooter through the window. As terror unfolds inside, people running for cover and pulling children to safety. 3 are injured in the shooting. A witness says the assassin shot the ambassador before turning his gun towards them. The Turkish Interior Ministry reporting overnight that anti-terrorism police killed the gunman shortly after. Authorities identifying him as a 22-year-old police officer who entered the building with his police ID. Melvit Merit Altintash, pictured here in his police academy graduation album. His victim rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Karlov was a 62-year-old veteran diplomat. His wife seen outside, overcome with tears. The assassination horrifying Russians and a shaken Vladimir Putin, who knew Karlov personally, vowing revenge, promising the killers will feel it.
Russian authorities are saying that this killer did not act alone. They say it was a carefully planned and executed assassination. And it is another incident that shows that Syria is a global crisis.
So, Terry, as you said, the Russians believe it was directed. It was part of a broader effort. Do we know anything more about this young police officer that might have indicated he was capable of something like this?
Well, there is one detail which they are following up. Reports say that this police officer had been suspended from the force because he was being investigated for taking part in that massive coup attempt back in July against Turkish President Erdogan. So it is possible that there is something connected to that, but they think, based on his own words in that room as he brandished the weapon, that it is mostly connected to Syria.
Okay,
George.
Terry, thanks very much. Let's bring in our Chief Global Affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz, for more on this as well. As Terry said, Martha, blowback against Russia for their involvement in Syria, but it's likely to cause them to double down.
Well, a lot depends on whether this is a wider plot, George, whether the gunman is, in fact, connected to a terror group. Russia and Turkey, of course, on opposite sides in Syria, the Russians supporting Syria's President Assad, Turkey supporting the rebels. Although Russia insists it is fighting terrorism and ISIS, there's little evidence of that in Syria. We've already heard Putin say this was a provocation aimed at disrupting the peace process in Syria, such as it is. So I think mostly Russia will be doing what it has been doing in Syria all along, supporting Assad. But if there is any connection to a wider terror plot, whether ISIS or al-Qaeda affiliates, we may see more of an effort in going after terror groups by Russia.
The president-elect also weighing in on Twitter. He said there were terror attacks in Turkey, Switzerland, and Germany. It's only getting worse. The civilized world must change thinking. The question here, of course, is what will this drive the president-elect to do with Russia in this fight against terror?
Well, I think the U.S. will use this to illustrate the threat of terrorism emanating from that region and how important it is to work together to fight against it. But beyond that, George, it will be up to Donald Trump to see what direction we go with Russia and others in any kind of cooperation.
And he is saying change must come. Martha Raddatz, thanks very much.